Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. You're watching Daily Immigration Doors, and I'm your host, Sam. And today we are here with another very exciting webinar that is lined up just for you. But before diving into the topic, let me read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not a professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. All right, friends, after this very important disclaimer, once again, welcome back everyone to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam, and you're watching Daily Immigration Dose. And the best part of our today's episode is that you can also join us on call by dialing up this number that is 425 with the access code 988888. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show, your go to source for latest updates on immigration. And also, talking about today's topic is very interesting and very timely. That is blink and denied. Why some visa interviews end before they even start. So, this topic is nothing, friends, that we are assuming or, we have been thinking, but this topic really happened. That blink and denied. Within a minute, have you ever imagined that there can be some cases that within a minute the visas got rejected? I mean, never. This is something very new and very disheartening. But trust me, this happened. But don't worry, friends, because this episode is not just another visa rejection story. This episode is also going to bring you some tips and also some common mistakes that most of the applicants do, even unknowingly. I mean, they don't even realize that. And I think to make this conversation even more interesting, more lively, I have my co host here. Hi, Napasa. It's so good to have you here again.
Hi, Sam. Always good to be here. I always look forward to daily immigration doors. And yes, it's a Monday again. So I'm looking forward for today after the weekend, after all. And here's wishing all you folks out there, those who celebrate Easter, happy Easter. I hope it's a good one to all of you, especially with family out there and friends, also, all your loved ones. And I think spring is also here. So here's wishing a good rest of the month. So let's go ahead and I hope you had a good weekend too, Sam.
Well, my weekend was full of, I just had something to eat and I was just laying down on the bed. So it was nothing
Relax.
new that I explored or something I did. So I think that's how our viewers were also had their own weekend. But of course, I mean, we would love to know, friends, how was your weekend? And you can also let us know in the comment section because this is a great platform where we can chit chat and have a casual exchange of ideas also. So yeah, I think also talking about Nepasa about the topic. I mean, what can you say that what our viewers can, get from our today's episode?
I think I wish we could tell you that we could give you a lot of answers, but I can only say that it's a story happening to not just one or two, but many out there because they don't really know what is the real reason that their visas are getting rejected. So I think you and I we're just going to discuss more, and please feel free if you had your recent experiences where your visa also got denied wherever you have joined us from, let us know. It'd be very nice to know your side of the story as well.
That's right. And I think before diving into the topic, it's always better to give a quick update regarding the news that we have covered. So I think let me go first with my news and then Nepasa can follow. So,
Absolutely.
friends, I have a very important news update, and that's about US visa crackdown, why Indian students are facing challenges, and what you need to know. So, I think today the topic is very important. And recently, US immigration authorities, including the Department of State and ICE, have started using a new tools and system to review visa records and more closely and in a very detailed form. And one of the programs making headlines is called Catch and Revoke. So there's nothing to worry just by hearing the name. It's basically a modernized system using AI to monitor online activity and verify compliance with visa rules. So this is simply to have a proper check on whole visa background, on whole the everything like from where does that applicant belong from, and what has been the history of that applicant. And this means the process is becoming, of course, more data driven and automated. And here's something also very interesting, that according to multiple reports, a significant number of visa revocation cases, that is about 50%, that involves Indian students. But it's also important to note it's not only Indian students, but students from China, South Korea, Nepal, Bangladesh have also been impacted due to this new change. And also, what's common in many of these cases are that these students were on OPT, optional practical training program. They had completed their studies and were working, gaining valuable experiences, and contributing positively to the US economy. But what does this mean? It's important to understand that not all students have affected were involved in anything wrong. In fact, a majority had clean records and were just focusing on building their future. But here's the good news, that many of these students are actively working on their career. They are resilient. They are failing. They are getting like again. And immigration attorneys also, they are taking help from them so that they can resolve the situation. And support is out there, and solutions are also being explored. So, friends, my question to you is also that have you or someone you know who have come across with this situation? And do you think that clear communication can really help avoid confusion in these scenarios? Because I think right now, clear communication is also a very important factor, and that's what lacking. So please let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this whole news, and what do you think about the problems or the scenarios that's happening. We would love to hear from you, and anyone who has been impacted, please share your story on the comment section. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show, because these news updates are again very important, not just for you, but for your loved ones, for your relatives, or for your friends. So make sure that you share this with them also. So this was the news from Mai and Nipasa, and why don't you go ahead and share the other with us?
Thank you so much, Sam. And absolutely, I too got a news update. And with that, I want to tell you that India US travel plans have hit sort of a bit of a turbulence. And thanks to the growing visa concerns and immigration crackdown in the US. So the big question is, have you noticed a change in India US travel plans lately? And if you have, then you know what I'm talking about, because it seems the travel between the two countries has been little quieter this year, especially in the first quarter, and few trends are starting to really catch everyone's attention. So according to the recent data from US Trade Administration, there's been a 9% drop in travel from India to the US in the first quarter of this year compared to the same period last year. And not just one way, there has also been about an 8.9% dip in travel from the US to India as well. So now, why is this happening? Is there something to be really worried about? I think what many in the community are saying is that some students and professionals are choosing to pause or adjust their travel plans, not because they fear, but because of taking more caution rather. So they're watching closely, staying informed, and just making thoughtful decisions about when and how to travel. So, especially for students on F1 visa or those working on OPT, it's all about timing. We've heard from a few who are simply choosing to stay in the US during school breaks this year just to keep things smooth and easy. So, one airline executive also mentioned that summer travel from Indian students has dipped a bit. But then again, this isn't panic. It's just people being smart and strategic. So, some students are also receiving updates about their visas. Not all, but enough to get people talking. And the good news is universities and attorneys are jumping in to support students, answer questions, and even keep things on track. So for those of you planning summer trips, guess what, there might be an upside as well, because with demand slightly down right now, airlines like Air India are actually offering more flights than ever between India and the US this summer. So we hear that over 1,950 flights are scheduled. So if you've been hoping for a real good deal or a more flexible travel plan or a travel window, this might really be your chance. So is this the new normal? I think, honestly, most experts, they believe that it's temporary, and the connection between India and US is strong. So culturally, or whether you talk professionally, academically, and it's not going anywhere. And also, as Ajay Prakash from Federation of Associations in Indian Tourism put it, people are just watching and waiting. They'll travel when the time feels right. And India's Civil Aviation Secretary also echoed that this market is resilient, things adjust, and people adapt. So I think people are being more careful, more than fearful, rather, and travel is still happening, just more thoughtfully, you can say. And India-US connection is as strong as ever. So there's nothing to worry about, and I think could be the right time coming up for you to travel. I wonder, what do you think though? Are If you are heading home this summer, waiting it out or have been waiting for the right time, I think you can see that the light is coming, after the tunnel. So yes, I think it is almost the right time to fly. So make plans, and we would also like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Also, your stories, your questions, or even if you're traveling, what tips to take from you. Maybe why don't you share all of that in our comment section? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, of course. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and also on Instagram. Follow us, connect with us. And friends, you can also join us in this conversation by dialing this number 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. So join us. All right. So I think that was my news update. And
Yeah.
Sam, coming back to our topic of discussion today, it's blink and denied why some visa interviews end before they even start. I mean, if you look at visa interviews, they're often imagined as, detailed assessments, but for many applicants, they feel more like lightning speed judgmental calls because, we prepare so much, and when we go there, it just takes a few seconds and you're done. I mean, one moment you're walking up into the counter, and in less than a minute, you're already done and walking out with a denial slip, or you have received your
Mhm.
visa. And it raises a lot of questions.
That's
Many
right.
people think, why are some visa interviews so short? And officers are making these judgments so suddenly, so fast. And
Yeah.
preconceived notions, have they already decided before we even entered? Or are applicants really falling to present their case effectively right from the very start? So many questions, right? What do you say,
Of
Sam?
course. I would say that this is a very must topic, and usually whenever we take any look at the visa interview, then it don't. I think it mostly takes happen like within 2 or 3 minutes maximum, not more than that. But this is quite surprising that today the case that we are going to talk about, that case really involves a visa interview that happened just within a minute. And this is really surprising, but of course it's very I would say heartbreaking, and it's very sad that those who have prepared from so many time years or maybe months or maybe days, have planned everything, saved a lot of money and planned so many things, maybe their clothes have a proper skin kit or so many things that they have done, but ultimately just within a minute, not even 60 seconds, within 40 seconds, just three questions and the interview done. Ultimately, that applicant got the sentence that he was really afraid and never wanted to hear that, and that was, sorry, your visa got denied. So this is something that's very heartbreaking and very sad, but the good thing is that at least we are here and we are bringing this conversation so that our friends can understand the reality. Our friends can understand that there's always a logic reason behind every rejection. So, guys, you have to be very particular about it, especially this time, in 2025. You can't be saying things like you were not careful or you were not aware about these things can happen, because this time I think everything is being very cautious. And even with small, silly mistakes, also, if there's anything that is suspicious, especially regarding your journey or your travel, then of course you won't be getting your visa. And I think that is how happened in this case study. That, of course, soon Nipasa is going to share what the real case study was. But before that, also, friends, our conversation, our episode is not just going to bring about the negativity or about the another visa rejection story. We are going to make you guys understand from these incidents what are the mistakes and what are the tips that you have to do, and so that you can take care in your interview. So this is going to be very informative and very interesting too. So if you want to stay tuned and watch this webinar till the end, then make sure before that you have to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. It's me, Sam, with my co-host Napasa, who brings up so many good content in this webinar so that our viewers get more and more information. And of course, failure is I would say, is a key to success. So that you have to be particular about it and you have to get so many knowledge. So I think, Napasa, without any further ado, I think it will be better for our viewers to understand what the case was and, just a gist about the case study.
For sure, Sam. And quickly, I would like to also say hi to Julski, if I'm pronouncing it right. He's Stay with us. We will take up your question. It's pretty interesting, and I hope it doesn't affect though. And coming back to the 40-second, rather, the 40-second rejection, I would call it. It's become very viral. I'm sure many of you have already seen this, where an Indian man shared how his US visa interview just lasted for 40 seconds before he was
Yeah.
denied under section 214B. So, he had planned a 2-week vacation to Florida to see tourist attractions like Disney World and even Universal Studios, and also meet his girlfriend who lives there. During the interview, the consular officer asked him only 3 questions. Why are you traveling? And have you traveled abroad before? And do you know anyone in the US? And after replying honestly, um, vacation and then no prior international travel and yes, a girlfriend, he was immediately denied. So,
Yeah.
this story really triggered an online debate about whether he should have answered differently and why his straightforward responses raised red flags. So, this is mainly, the whole story cut short. I tried in 40 seconds, but I don't think it was 40 seconds, must have been more. So, this is what had happened, and this is the story that's gone viral so far. And, people are really concerned, as in, how do they answer if these are the things that are happening, and maybe things that they should avoid during a visa interview. So
Yeah.
poor guy, he's wondering, not just him, many others are also wondering, maybe he should have answered differently, maybe he should have not told about his girlfriend, or maybe had another thing to say apart from his girlfriend. I mean, things like that, right? It's really creating a huge discussion online, and I don't know if you were also a part of this discussion somewhere online. And today we are actually discussing on this. So, Sam, what do you have to say? What do you think must have happened?
When we are listening to the questions that you have just shared right now, so of course, those questions were pretty simple and there was nothing complicated that we have been thinking that within a 40-second, I mean, what wrong did happen so that, the officer just simply get the answer that, okay, just reject this person. He's not capable of going to the US. I think, of course, the answer wasn't that different because in case study also we went that the applicant was honest and he was saying all the things very honestly. But I think where he might lack was that he was honest, but I don't think that he was smart enough, or he might not be very strategically, presenting his answers. Because this time it's not just about, friends, honesty. I mean, of course, you have to be honest. There's nothing wrong or nothing questionable about it, but you also have to be little smart about it, like what the officers can interpret, with your answers. For example, there can be so many things. As he said that he has his girlfriend over there and he's going to meet her, so this shows something that, of course, he can have a future plans in the US, or there may be less connection to the India because he was an Indian applicant, or less ties to the home country, and he may have plans to not return to his country or to live in the US with his girlfriend. So these are the answers, or these are the pointers, that you have to be very particular about it, like how to present it, or whether you have to say this or not.
Yeah.
So I think it's not something that you have to lie about or you have to hide. Of course, you have to present it honestly, but
Yeah.
still with a very strategic way, with a very smart way, so that it doesn't show, that you are not a good applicant or you're not deserving one. You have to show that you are deserving, as well as be little smart and be little, I would say, uh, well prepared enough. That's what I can say. And maybe that can be the reason that he lagged and his visa got rejected. What do you think, Napas? I mean, what can be the reasons?
Well, I wonder what the visa officer was thinking, and if he was looking for, I'm sure, like just you mentioned just now, if a boyfriend can just do so much, travel across the world, to go meet his girlfriend, then, I mean, it's obviously true love or, whatever the case. And he definitely has future plans. I mean, one wouldn't just go around the world just to meet somebody he doesn't have thought his future with, right?
Mhm.
So, of course, maybe that, and depends, of course. You know he must have, I mean, they must have thought that he will have future plans for sure, whether coming and settling in America. Maybe
Mhm.
this could be their, their trip to plan together their way forward, so this
Yeah.
could have been short, maybe 2 3 weeks or whatever max. But then, of course, they would feel like he would return back to America, and who knows, the next time he would even get married. So maybe yes. And another thing is he never had any travel history abroad.
Yeah.
So that could be another reason. You never know. And anything, I mean, it depends. And honesty is much, much needed. Of course, there no misrepresentation would be also, uh, treated well. So it's a good thing that he was extremely honest, but I wish that it wasn't a sad ending for him in 40 seconds. But I'm sure this is not just his, I mean, one story. There are so many others maybe facing similar sort of situations. So yeah,
That's right.
that's
Of
my
course,
take.
it is happening. It is happening. And Napasa, I think that is why we are having these webinars, so that our friends shouldn't be unaware about the situations or about the incidents. Because whenever we listen that within 40 seconds the interview got cancelled, so we just have one side of the story, that, okay, maybe that visa officers are very strict, or maybe the policies are becoming so strict enough. But friends, I think this is not the reality, because when we talk about USA, then USA has lots of illegal immigrants too. I mean, of course, everybody is dreaming to go to the US, and whenever we talk about US, there are people who wants to visit to the US, but similarly, so many people wants to settle in the US. And people overstay in the US, and maybe they go for work or a study or to meet someone or to settle anyhow. So I think that is what the visa officers know, and that is why they keep on asking these questions and always have that suspicion look on you whenever you go to the interview. But no need to be afraid of that. If you are like well prepared and know everything, then of course you are going to go to the US soon. But with that, I think also let's be a little particular about that. What are the common mistakes, so that you can have in your mind, and you cannot you will be a little careful about it. So let me go with the first pointer, and this common mistake we are going to have taken from the case study itself. As the man who got his visa rejected, he said that there is no travel history. So I think, Napasa, this is something little unusual, right? I mean, no travel history, then how can somebody get his visa rejected? But this what happened, and whenever we can take this an example, that for example, if someone always borrows books from the library and return them on time, and that person has a proper history, that he gets the book on this time and returning the book on that time. So this is something that is building the trust and has a proper record, and is also building a trust. But what if someone who has never borrowed a book before, and that is going to be little questionable for the teacher or for the faculty who's going to provide the book, whether he's going to return it or not on time, or whether he's going to tear the book, or maybe he can scribble the book or do something, destroy the book. So we are not saying that he is going to destroy the book or he's going to take away the book. He can obviously return the book, but still there's a matter of trust that is going to be there when you're going to check the history, when you're going to have a proper background, right? You're not just going to have a trust by looking at the person's face. So that shows a pretty, I would say, relying thing. If you have a travel history, then of course that's a good one. If you don't have, then I would suggest a very interesting way that it will be possible for you to visit some places where there is free visa countries like Thailand or Singapore. You can build a positive travel record. So I think that can be a little interesting alternative, so that it will make a better trust and it is going to make your profile also a better one. So yeah, I think this is the common mistake, Napasa, that can happen. And also, another is mentioning a romantic partner in the US. So, Napasa, my question to you would be like, what do you think? Why this can be a wrong, perspective? Why visa officers can think that if they're going to mention their romantic partner living in the US, then what's wrong in that?
I don't think there's anything wrong, and I mean, especially in this world today, is the 21st century, is to 2025 for crying out loud, where, everybody is sort of a global citizen now. The different corners of the world meeting through marriage, or, I mean, so many things, right? We're studying together. There are international schools everywhere, and everybody knows everyone. We are socializing on social media, where we also feel like we are living in America sometimes, or we know at least what's happening in America, and we know that in seconds when it happens. So stuff like that, I don't think there's anything wrong. But I was just thinking, if it was the other way around, if it was the girl from America coming to India, I'm sure this wouldn't be, there would not be any reason to stop her from coming to India to
Yeah,
meet her boyfriend. And it
gotcha.
just feels unfair when it comes to that kind of a situation, don't you
I
think
think
so?
absolutely. This can be a better tip that we can suggest to our viewers, that instead of going to the US, because that will be a little tricky, it will be better, friends, if you have your loved ones in the US to call them to your country, because that will be a little easier. But, anyways, as we talk about like mentioning a romantic partner, why is it so tricky and why does it sounds little unusual? So, if you casually mention that your boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance lives in the US, then of course visa officer may interpret that this as a possible immigration intention, even if you say your purpose is tourism. Because romantic relationships often involve emotions, future plans, and possibility that you might want to stay in the US, even that's not your plan now. Maybe you are going to the US to see how the environment is, maybe to see how your life can be, or anyhow anything like planning future for it. And even if you're just going for a short visit, the officer might think that maybe that they will try to stay in the US with their partner and can overstay in their visa. So, these are the questions that definitely going to be in the minds of officers, and US immigration law are very intense sensitive. So, if there's any hint that you may not return to your home country, the officer can and often will deny the visa under Section 214B. So I think this time what you can do, friends, is that if your purpose is tourism, then of course you have to focus talking about more about your travel plans instead of talking about your spouses or your fiance, or something that may have little suspicion about it. And only talk about your partner if they ask directly. Otherwise, it's better to avoid it. So I think this can
Yeah, I
also be
think.
a mistake. Yeah.
No, I was just going to add, like, also, like, you can talk about your ties to your home country, whether you have your family out there, your office, your school, you're working, things like that, and, maybe uh, you also have your family who you cannot leave. It's just, you just need to prove that it's going to be a short visit. That's all they
Yeah.
need to know. And I think, yes, like Sam has said, like, maybe not even mention about your romantic partner for, I mean, at the first instant, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, that's very well said, Nepasa. Strong ties to your country. And friends, to feel confident, of course they are going to look for the strong ties. So you have to mention, or you have to show that you have a proper steady job, family that you have in your home country, you have your own property that you own, business that you have, and also school or course, anything that maybe you're studying, or you have enrolled over there. So I think these can be shown and can be given in a good way. I mean, these are the evidence that yes, you have a very strong tie to your home country. And just after completing your work, maybe it's a tourism or maybe something else, you are going to come back to your country. So this is also very important thing. And I think Nepasa, by talking about that case study that happened just in 40 seconds, maybe that applicant was lacking to give these much proofs, or maybe couldn't successfully show that yes, he has ties, or something that happened wrong with him. But anyway, I think we are just going to understand, we are just going to learn from the case studies. And these were
Oh, for
some of
sure. And actually, I want to also, don't mind me, Sam, I just want to shout out to all folks out there to check out our content here on Immigration Talk Show, because, we have amazing uh, attorneys and even ex-US consular officers who could guide you, or we have content where they've already guided us. So these could be, good guidebooks, or rather good guided videos for you, to learn from. And best things that you can also ask your questions. You can even mention that you're going for a visa interview very soon, and maybe things that you're concerned about. Tell us about your situation, and we could come up with things for you to be prepared with. So why not tell us about them? You can write to us. You can also comment wherever you're watching us, or write to us. You can email me at nipa@staffingly.com, or email sam@staffingly.com.
yeah.
Or better even, I'm more active in WhatsApp. So you can WhatsApp me on my number 408 335 6444. All right, Sam, sorry for interrupting. Go ahead, please.
No, I just completed my everything, and I think that was very needed, and that's another help from our side. So I hope, friends, you got your answer and with the solution too. So Napasa, why don't you go ahead and also let us know more about like what can be the tips, to improve the chances for the approval.
I think preparation is always key. The more you prepare, the more confident you become, and you try to put yourself in different sorts of situations and know
Mhm.
how to answer in those kind of situations differently. So I think it's best to also, build a travel history. It's important to have a good travel history. Short trips to other countries can also demonstrate that, you have a pattern of returning home. That's what they
Mhm.
want to see. These visa officers, they want to see that you like to return home, you go out on time, we discussed earlier, right? Sam had mentioned,
Yeah.
go to the countries which are giving out free visas for you. Yes, Thailand could be one of the most common destinations, and there are many others. Um, there is Mauritius, there is the nearest, I would say, for India,
Maldives.
there are so many different countries.
Yeah.
Right, right, Sam. So there are so many, you can just go make a plan and try to build a travel history. It's important, because it's important to show that you're returning home. And also another thing is gather documents that show strong connections, to your home country. So whether they are job verification letters, property deeds, maybe you have short leave period, where you are just granted 3 weeks time, or whatever be the case. So
Mhm.
you need to show them that you can't stay longer than that period of time. Then, of course, financial statements and family dependence. Maybe you show that your mother, your parents, your siblings, who could be dependent on you too. So it's important to show all of that in those documents as well. So important
That's
to
right.
be also clear, and confident in your answers. I'm not saying overconfident, but you need to be confident as in how you're answering them, or you should try to know what a visa officer is looking for. Of course, you will know your story best, but also try to know the other side, who you will be talking to and what are they looking for. I know
Yeah.
it may not be that easy because every day there are different visa officers maybe, and they have different moods. They could be in a certain mood that, even if you say everything all right, but you may still be denied because of the mood.
Yeah,
I mean, I won't say just because of the mood, but it could act up, and you never know, and could be your luck as well. Sometimes could be a hard day's luck that maybe didn't favor you that day. But yeah, I think that too. And of course, you should avoid oversharing information as well.
that's right.
You
Yeah.
should be confident, but avoid oversharing your information, because especially if they did not ask about it,
That's right.
uh, it's like somebody's asking something and you're just telling them what they need. You don't say the whole thing.
That's
I don't think they have the time, or it is necessary also for them to know.
right.
And it might just take a whole different turn if you tell them too much.
That's right. And that is a very common
So,
mistake, Nepasa, that most of the applicants do, because they think that if I'm going to have a proper detailing to my answer, if I'm going to overshare my things, then that's going to, make it a better one. They are going to build trust. But no, that's really going to confuse them more and more, and then they are going to deep dive into another details, and it will become a little chaotic. So maybe you can lose your chance also, the one that you might get your visa approved, but because of your oversharing or because of something that they didn't even ask for, I think you can, face the rejection. So yeah, I think that's very, very
right,
important.
right.
Yeah, that's very important one.
Important points, right, right. And I could just give sort of a, for example, friends, if you are visiting for tourism,
Mhm.
your focus is travel, and you can focus on your travel itinerary instead, instead of putting up the personal relationships in front.
Yeah.
So I think that could be some one way.
Hmm.
And unless you're asked, of course, if you're asked, you have to tell them. But then you can, suppose you're focusing, you're going to the US to travel, then why not tell them about what you're going to do? I mean, the whole plan, for your travel. And I think it's best to also practice some mock interviews. Ask somebody to act like a visa officer, and make them ask questions to you, so that it can help you stay calm, and it can help you practice. It can help you put yourself in different situations of how you're going to answer, and of course make your story consistent across your application and your spoken responses. No matter how many times you're asked, you should be telling the same story, maybe in a different way, but the stories can't change, right?
Right.
So make sure that you are consistent on that matter at least.
And the best part of the interview is, I think, Napasa, it happens just maximum 2 or 3 minutes, not more than that. So those 2 or 3 minutes, I think every officer have 4 to 5 questions maximum. And those 4 to 5 questions are only that you have to practice thoroughly. So I think mostly top three questions that I remember till now is that why you have to visit, to the purpose of your visit, then is there someone that you know, or any family member in the USA, and also when are you planning to come back to your home country. So I think these three are the basic questions that every officers are going to ask from you. So at least
Yeah.
this is a very positive thing. This is a point of a relief that you have the questions. It's nothing that they are just going to have a sudden question and you are just blank. You have everything, you have questions. It's just that you have to keep on practicing and have clarity in your mind. What answer? It shouldn't be too long, it shouldn't be too short. It should be exactly what it is needed. And that you are going to get only by just practicing and practicing. So be
Yes.
very particular about your purpose of visit. Also, is there any family members in the US? If there are, then how you have to present it. That's also very important. And if not, that's well and good. Also, when are you coming back, or are you planning to come back to the your home country? Present it in such a way so that you should build that trust in officer's mind. So I think that's only we are going to share. And okay, I can say Sakshi is here, RK is here, and Jewel is also here. So hi, Jewel Sky. I can see your comment, and let me take his comment quickly. How about domestic travel? Does that affect it too? So I think domestic travel is not going to affect that much. But you have, if you are a US citizen, then of course officers are there, and we are going through a lot of news that in buses, cars, or random roads also, everybody is checking your ID card, your documents. So you have to carry that. And if you have all those documents and everything, then you're good to go. Nothing is going to, I mean, you don't have to worry about anything. Right, Nipasa?
Right. And also depends where you're at. So I think, yes, it'll depend where you're at and how updated your documents are. But if there's, I mean, everything is on the right point, as in you have all your documents updated, I don't think you should worry much. But yes, I think it's best to have your documents with you all the time, and you see that your status is, it's okay. So everybody will be checked anyway whenever you travel. Depends on we are traveling from which state to which state. So Julski, all the best. Tell us about your travel plans. From where to where are you traveling, and maybe then we can answer better. But yes, now let's go on to Sakshi. Hi, Sakshi. Thank you so much for tuning in here on YouTube. I've read on many sites that the decision about an F1 visa is determined prior to the interview. Is it really true? If so, what factors are taken into account before the interview? Well, this is something that attorneys or experts will be able to answer, and I would rather not give you not the right information. So I'd save your comments, Sakshi. Thank you for your question, and we are going to take this up in one of our webinars, which are coming up on our channel. So stay in touch with us. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. Subscribe to our channel and also hit that bell icon so that whenever we have those discussions and whenever we are going to take up your question, we're going to notify you.
That's
So
right.
thank you.
And guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, then I wonder what is there that you guys haven't subscribed. Because this is the platform that we bring the latest updates on immigration, and you will get the notification only if you're going to press the bell icon. So I think without any further ado, just go ahead and press that bell icon and also hit the subscribe button. That's really going to be very helpful for you guys. And the best part is you can also join us on the conversation by dialing up the number with the access code, and go ahead, join us on this call and share your stories also if you have went through any interview or planning to go to the interview or know someone who has gone and got the success, or maybe not got got the failure, then anything, please let us know and we will definitely have a great conversation on that. And RK is here, and let me take up RK's comment. So, hi, RK, and thank you so much for joining us back. RK is saying there are 20 plus visa categories. That's right, I think almost 29 visa categories. And not everyone is eligible for one. That's right. The US issues 10 million plus visa annually. That's more than some countries have people. The rules to get a visa is some restrictive yet. Still, there are millions that overstay their visa, which doesn't give credence to relax the rules. I think that's absolutely a very well put up, RK, and thank you so much for putting up the stats. And that's what I think, Napasa, we have been discussing, right? That
Right.
USA,
A few
I mean,
things.
they are a very welcoming country for immigrants, and there are some sort of strictness are also going, but it's just how it is, and we have to follow the rules. We can't say anything about the rules and the laws. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much, RK, for being here. Yeah, Napasa, please go ahead.
No, I was just saying yes to RK. Very, very well put. And this is one reason that why this is happening now. If only everybody was so good with themselves, to follow their rules strictly. If nobody overstayed, if everybody would come to the US, and of course, US is the land of immigrants. There have been immigrants making the country since a very, very long time now, so many, many decades. And yes, like you mentioned, RK, there are so many millions who overstay their visa, which actually it's not good at all, and it's giving this credence to which does not really give this credence to relax the rules, of course. And now more than ever, they are trying their best to try to put everything on track, And hopefully, yes, it all happens in the right way. So, RK, thank you once again. And Jules Key says, got it. Thanks, Sam and Napasa. Thank you. Thank you so much for your question as well. Thank you for participating. And now we have Ganesh. So, I'll take it up. What if my US student visa interview is 4 days before the program start date? Would it be an issue? And how should I deal with it? And what if the visa officer does not mention anything about this issue and just rejects me in the interview? Well, there are so many possibilities, but Ganesh, I would like to say please take a deep breath. Don't think anything negative. Try to prepare yourself, be confident. And about the dates, these are a little technical. I don't know if there should be an issue, but we could take this question up. And if you could tell us when are your actual dates, and hopefully we can come up with an answer before that. And I just say all the best, prepare well, know things. And I think that we discussed good points today to also, I mean, though shortly, I mean, in a short way, I think we still had some good points for you to keep in mind. So Ganesh, why don't you check out this whole episode once again? And also, yes, we will try to come up with better answers. Maybe in the next webinar or so, we will try to take your question. So don't forget to subscribe to us. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show, and hit that bell icon so that you will be notified when we have our webinars.
That's right. And friends, I think before leaving, I would also like to say the fun those who have got their visa rejection, please understand the reason that why this happened and why your visa got rejected. Also, if you are planning to reapply, then always wait before reapplying. It will be advisable to apply only when you have something changed on your profile, like travel history or job status or something like that. Then
Yes.
only it will be a better one to reapply. Otherwise, the same way, same results will be there.
Yeah.
And also, I think travel elsewhere first, as that is what advisable, and it will be a little easier for you to get a like better chance, a closer to your process of approval. And
Mhm.
consider alternative visas, as we have been always saying. It's a free way, it's your call. I mean, which visa you have to go with it. Don't just stick to one visa. There are 29 visas that what RK has also shared with us. And you can go ahead, look for those visas. And if you have any doubt regarding which visa is good for you, then we are here. Ask those questions from us. We have great immigration attorneys who are going to provide you the expert answer with great solutions and really going to help you out, because in our shows we also shares the contact details of them, and you can reach out to them, ask questions personally. You can email them or ask questions on WhatsApp. So it's really going to be very helpful, it's really going to be very insightful. You just have to make sure that keep on watching Immigration Talk Show, and also hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon, like, share to our channel. And it's me, Sam, with my co-host Nipasa, and it was a great episode, Nipasa. So I think thank you so much to you also for bringing up so much to the table. And thanks, Ganesh, Julski, RK, and Sakshi also. I hope to see you guys tomorrow again with another episode. Till then, good luck, everyone, and take care and keep watching Immigration Talk Show.